Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Forrest over here. Welcome to another live stream. So, well, I need to fix my hair. I just realized it's all messed up on this bit. So, Halloween is just almost a whole day upon us. It's still currently October 29th my time, and it will change to the 30th in about 20 minutes' time. So, um, So this is just a little bit of a chill stream. If anybody comes, I'll honestly be surprised. But basically, here's how we're doing this. Hey, speaking of, hey, Mashonzo, I apologize about that, about messing up your name, because my glasses are a little bit messed up, and I try to, not, I'll try to, I'm crazy, but my Discord, the Discord notifications on my phone are interesting. But anyway, so how we're doing this is basically it's going to be like your traditional chill stream, but we're basically going to be talking about scary things, talking about not too scary things, but also some really fun Halloween moments that we've had growing up, as well as scary moments from TV shows, movies, and if we're really going down and dirty with it, nightmares. I also wanted to show off a costume that I'll be wearing at work for the 30th and 31st because my workplace is doing costume day. And so I thought, you know what, let's just show off this costume that I have. It may look a bit cliched, but I'm still going to show it off when we get to it. But I'm gonna wait, I'm going to hold off on showing it. But anyway, yeah, it's fine, but you said it right. Thank you. But anyway, so how's everybody doing tonight? My day was, for the most part, was a good day. Yeah. Met an old friend of mine from school while I was at work. Uh, it was a nice getting interacting with him a little bit. Man, he changed. You know that's the crazy thing about life. Time goes by so fast that when you go from seeing all the people that you grew up with all the people that you grew up with, and in my case, with high school after graduation, you don't really interact with them that much anymore. Uh, to the point to where it might actually be years until you see any of your classmates or some of the teachers that you grew up with again. That's kind of what makes life a little bit scary because you never know when you're gonna see the people that you grew up with in school ever again. Namely those that you of course cared about growing up into the school system. Even if the school system may or may not be a little bit messed up in its own right, but either way. That's nice to hear. So I've already watched some scary videos twice now, so I'm not really gonna do that tonight. Uh, but who says we can't have a little bit of scares by doing scary stories um, or reading some scary stories? Dude, I have like so many Stephen King books over here. Let me see here from where I'm sitting at. I got The Green Mile. I've got the latest Hunger Games book that came out a few months back. Got James Patterson. I see another Stephen King up there on the top there, titled The Long Walk. There's a pink book right there. I don't even know what that is. Hold on, let me see. Oh, that's Animal Farm. Okay. What else we got? We got an unsolved murders book because I'm a big fan of mysteries of any kind. I got Pet Cemetery. There's some more books under there, but I can't see them. One's an illustrated classic. I remember the small books, so yeah, I know that. The other one I can't really see. But yeah. But yeah. Yes, I am a bit of a bookworm. No, I'm not ashamed of it because, dude, I got a lot of I got a lot of books. Like the small amount of books that I'm seeing here, pale in comparison to the fact that in the camper that I used to live in for a time, there are there is enough books in that camper that I could make like a little miniature library out of it. Like I could probably, if I like, I could get a house and just make a whole room dedicated to like a little library, like a reading room sort of thing, and those books would all be in it. It's crazy. But since how we're at Halloween, we gotta talk about the things that have scared us when we were kids, that have traumatized us growing up. We're not talking about the real life stuff because that's kind of going a little bit too deep. But if it's something like a movie or TV show that seems so realistic that it scared you, then that is okay. Nightmares, maybe, but dude, I have had a childhood of nightmares growing up. Not and before anybody says anything, I had a good childhood growing up. You know, I had some good parents. You know that raised me. Of course, just like any other parent, not at a, they've had their days of arguments, but you know deep down inside we all still care and love each other, even if we get a little bit mad at each other, and even over even the most trivial of things. But my childhood was just so filled with nightmares, I could probably just dedicate a whole video. Yeah, let me adjust my camera a little bit. I could dedicate a whole freaking video just talking about my nightmares. A number of nightmares that I distinctively remember growing up. Yeah, but it's crazy. Uh, but yeah, I would have to say the if we're gonna talk about childhood scares that we had growing up, I could already name a few right off the top of my head. When it comes to TV shows, the first thing that pops in my head was the episode of the Rugrats where Tommy and Chucky uh, are at Tommy's house and they're doing like a little like Chucky and Chaz are staying over. Chaz's baby there is basically their babysitter for both Chucky and Tommy. And Angelica, being the being the mean 3-year old older cousin that she is, basically tell Chucky and Tommy the story of the Sandman. And so they spend the whole night about doing things in regard to that. And then they keep hearing things. Like we see that it's Chucky's dad that's the cause of all that's going on. But then I probably should have said spoilers. Either way. But anyway, so we know that Chucky's dad's involved in it, but Chucky and Tommy being, act literal babies, uh, they go and investigate it, and then when they go down into the basement, there's that scene where the back of Chaz's head, like he falls through the basement window. He crashes right through the basement window. Tommy and Chucky go down to take a look. They're at the top of the steps. We, the audience, then see the back of Chaz's head, and then he turns around, and you see what is actually white and red. I guess a white and red paint covering his eyeglasses, but they're painted in such a way that it looks like red eyes, and that scared me when I first seen that. That scene stayed with me for a while, uh, and I remember that was one of the few. That was like one Rugrat thing that scared me. Like not even the episode with the clown dolls. That didn't even scare me as a kid. But that's a little bit with Chaz turning around and you see the painted red irises with the white eyes. Yeah, that was the one that scared me as a kid. I could not help it at all. It scared me when I was a kid. Uh, the other thing that scared me as a kid would be the times where you hear those off-screen people screaming over something. I remember, like, for an example, SpongeBob SquarePants had the episode Hooky, and there's that scene where Krabs talks about what happens if you get hooked on if one of the fish get caught on the hook. And even Patrick Star, in a way, does try to add to the eeriness to it by saying some things in regard to seeing somebody earlier near the hooks, but he wasn't there then, kind of insinuating something. Well, actually, not insinuating, more like implying something happened to this other off screen fish, but we don't know what actually happened. But it's implied that something happened to him, and not in a good way. But when Krabs talks about the hooks, uh, and it's like, there's that whole bit where Patrick and SpongeBob are playing with the hooks. Squidward and Krabs are in the Krusty Krab. Squidward has to flip the patties, doing the worst job he could possibly get at this point. Um, and so he says, and so Krabs actually goes into the kitchen and basically asks Squidward what's going on, why the kitchen's all backed up, and why there's no food going out. Squidward says that SpongeBob, it's a feeding frenzy, sir, and SpongeBob ain't back from his break. Krabs laughs. Why? I thought you said SpongeBob be taking a break. Nobody takes a break in the Krusty Krab since the Chum famine of 59. So, what were you saying? He took a break. And then, cartoon violence a little bit there for a comedic effect, I guess. All right, SpongeBob Lazy Pants says something that I can't remember, but then he says something at the end as well, but I can't remember what it was. SpongeBob is still a lot, is still A tier. Honestly, I respect the classics. I don't really watch the modern day stuff anymore because I think it's just too. This is about me coming from a guy that watched the Three Stooges growing up. But nowadays, I can't really watch it because it's more slapstick comedy than a story being told. When it's slapstick comedy, which is basically why I could get into the Three Stooges. Because with all the slapstick comedy going on with those three, they still tell the story there. Whereas with the modern day SpongeBob, they have the slapstick comedy, which may make me laugh, but I feel like there's not much of a story going on in between the slapstick violence going on. Yeah. So, that's my thought on it. It's not a bad show, but it's not as good as it used to be. And I think it's really a case of they've had that show on for so long that it's like, I don't know if they could do it, if they could bring anything new to the table. I mean, yeah, they got the spinoff of Camp Coral, and I've seen the episodes there, and I thought it was a good show from the first set of episodes they had, and I haven't seen the other episodes there, so I might have to watch those as well, but I don't think the spinoff was that bad. Uh, yeah, so, yeah, that's why I don't really get into the modern day SpongeBob, but I'm getting into the spinoff series though. I think it's pretty good. Still, to me the spinoff is more like the old school SpongeBob, where they have the slapstick comedy there every so often, but they have a story to tell as well. That's why I like it so much. Even though I know some people don't really care for it for one reason or another, but I think it's better than the SpongeBob that we got nowadays. But anyway, so going back to the story in question, Krabs then goes down to where the hooks are at, and then he sees SpongeBob and Patrick, and he's like, "No, boys, no!" Crashes into a rock. How did he say it? If only I could hold him in my arms, and then they float back down. I throttle him! What did I tell you about them hooks, boy? SpongeBob's stuttering because he didn't know Krabs was right there. I'll tell you about the hooks. You go up and up and up, and you gently float down. And do you know what happens if you don't float back down? Gift shop. Worse. You end up vacuum packed in a can of tuna. Duh. With nothing on the inside of it but the smell of mayonnaise. Ah! It's really funny when I look back at it now, but because a kid, I could not take screams very well at all. Like any off-screen scream, I could not take any well. Kind of saying the same thing with the fact that All Real Monsters had an on-screen mouth scream in the part of the title, and that whole intro still scares me somewhat to this day. Not a lot, but still to this day it kind of does. But I mean, that's the whole point of that show. It's supposed to be comedic, but at the same time, it's going to be filled with some scares uh, that only Invader Zim could rival. And I say Invader Zim specifically because that show could rival All Real Monsters if it wanted to be real scary, which it really was. But the only thing was with Invader Zim, I never really grew up with that one compared to some other people. I, I think my sister did. I think my sister kind of liked it. I'm not sure, but I think she said one time that she liked it as we were growing up, but whatever. um, but then there was another one. I think there was one in Angry Beavers, but I don't know if that's true or not, so I'm not really going to go too into that one. Uh, is it okay if I shout you out on my channel? Oh, sure, if you want to, that's fine. I this would be the first time I've been shouted out by someone else's channel, so sure, if you want to shout me out, I'm cool with it, regardless. It's not a matter of if I'm okay with it, it's a matter of if you're okay with it, if I'm being honest with you. And I apologize for not being able to see comments. My eyeglasses are still fogging up from time to time, so I apologize if I can't really see a comment clearly. But yeah, that was another part of my childhood. Let's see. I didn't really grow too much up with shows like Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps. I did grow up with Goosebumps a little bit, and there's some parts of it that I remember. Namely, the very first episode of that show that I watched, which was actually, ironically, based on the first book of the book series, in Welcome to Dead House. That was the first episode of that show that I watched, and I remember. I don't know if it scared me too much, but I remember it's the intro alone scared my sister because she and I was watching it one night. I don't know when it was, but we were watching it one night, and there's that whole intro where the freaking dog, where you see the dog in the Goosebumps logo, you see the shadow of the Goosebumps logo over the dog, and as the logo is about to go off screen, that's when the dog's eyes go into a more evilish yellow. That scared my sister so much that she actually hid behind me. I've seen that intro enough times to not be scared by it at that point. But my sister was so scared of it, she actually hid behind me because of that. It was really funny. Uh, let's see, was there any other thing there? I do remember Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, but that show didn't really scare me. I didn't really watch too much of it. Ed, Edd n Eddy was another show that I grew up with, but it didn't really give me any scares for that matter. More comedy, but like some of the most slapstick comedy I've ever seen. That could honestly rival early SpongeBob. But yeah, that was it. Um, and it's very weird because just the other day I was watching 30 disturbing moments from kid shows on the channel of who was it? I think it was Blame It on George who was doing that, or Jorge, whatever or however you pronounce his name. Either way, I remember that video. I even remember when he uploaded the original scariest scariest moments in kids TV shows or something like that. But yeah, some of the things that I grew up with didn't. Some of the things that I grew up with didn't really scare me too much, but I did have my share of scares. If I had to say the scariest moment of my entire childhood as far as TV shows go, I would say the scariest thing that came to me are those moments where, let me just use my hand as an example, all right? Every time something does that, basically whenever something comes to the screen, it scares me. This one didn't scare me because I knew I was going to do it anyway. But when I don't know it's coming, or if I don't see it coming, or I've seen it before, but I still somehow don't expect it, it's still just seeing the screen go like just seeing a character just run at the screen can still scare me to this day. I even watched Scary Godmother Halloween Spooktacular just the other day, and that scene where in that little bit where the little girl character Hannah, how she's doing this like Jimmy, Katie, anyone? Uh, yeah. Hey, funny man, how you doing tonight? And thank you for the shout out. Uh, Shonzo, thank you for the shout out, and welcome, funny man. How you doing tonight? We're just basically talking about scary childhood memories, if anybody has any. Don't talk about real life stuff though, because we're not here to talk about that. Mainly talking about TV shows, movies, and because I grew up with this as a kid, video games. Yes, even video games. So if anybody has some scary moments they would like to share with the people that they grew up with, that's fine too. I'm just basically talking about my own, but if you guys have some that you like to bring up, that's fine too. I'll read your comment and see if that was part of my childhood too, growing up. But just remember, I was more like a 2000s kid because I was born in the second half of the 90s. And when I say second half, I mean like the middle man of the 90s. 1995. What a great year that was for some people. Let's see. Let's see. We got. See, I talked about my scariest TV show scare. I would have to say. Let's go with the movies for a little bit here. Already at the top of my head, that one scene in Mask of the Phantasm where you see a guy. Basically, I wish I had the thing to show that here. You know SpongeBob the IRL Goo Monsters that gave me the weird feeling that made me feel what? It gave the IRL Goo Monsters. I don't know that. I probably haven't seen that one, honestly. Oh, that just reminded me. There was another scene in SpongeBob, the Halloween special, where SpongeBob is trying to scare people in Bikini Bottom or something because everybody was looking at him like people were looking at him like they just looked at him like, well, SpongeBob can never be too scary. He's the nicest guy you'll ever see. And so he puts on the ghost outfit or something like that. But then something happens and you see basically the skinniest form of SpongeBob ever. The one where it's basically where you see just his arms, his leg, his chest, it's all thin. You see his eyes and his mouth, and you even see his brain. Nothing's covering any of it. It's just he's just full skeletal kind of thing there. Um, Sponge on the Run. I don't know. I don't know the episode title. I just know that it was like the Halloween special, and apparently there was going to be a whole thing where you actually see the full frontal view of SpongeBob in this form. That it was like, yeah, when they showed that it was a cut scene, I'm like, yeah, thank God they didn't show that to me when I was a kid. I probably would have freaked out a little bit there. Because jump scares, nope. Unless I see it coming, I can fall victim to jump scares too. Yeah, it just something that happens, honestly. Yeah, the IRL movie. Oh, oh, not that one. I know what you're talking about now. Not that one. That's a whole different thing altogether. This is like old school SpongeBob back then, I think. Yeah, I think it was like still back in old school SpongeBob, not modern day, I think. I don't know. I haven't seen that episode in a while. You have a question? What is your question? What's up with your right hand? Oh, this? Just like basically everything on my right side. Just like everything on my right side, I was born this way. And literally everything that's happened to me on my right side. I am deaf and blind on my right side. I have no right nostril for some reason. Uh, Club hand, as you've seen. No thumb where it should be, so instead this finger right here that I'm moving, this one right here, basically takes the form of the thumb now. Um, Apparently I was told I'm an inch shorter on my right side somehow. So you have three. Shush. I know you're joking, but shush. Okay? Shush. No, I don't have 3 feet. Y'all are crazy. Yeah, no, I don't have 3 feet. Outside the fact that I have 2 hands, 2 feet, I also have an eye that was on this side, but because it didn't grow along with me. I think it didn't grow along with me because I can't see out of it. So, but it's actually, and this is going to be a shocking moment in itself. But in actuality, my eye is my actual eye is still there somehow. Kind of weird, but it is. Um, let's see, 2 feet, 1 foot on your right hand. It looks like a foot. Oh, yeah, no, it's not a. We call it a club hand. It's not. I don't call it a foot hand. I call it a club hand. But anyway, um, hmm, hmm. Four. Oh, hold on. I gotta do something real quick. I will be right back. Give me a second. Okay, we're back. I just tried to do something real quick. Anyway, where were we at? Oh yeah, we were talking about. Actually, I forgot what we were talking about. Um. Nice window. Oh yeah, that's right. We were talking about my disability. Uh, nice window. Yeah, I got literally one, two, three windows surrounding me. So to say that I could be a little bit discomforting a little bit around here, since I'm open to three vantage points where some crazy person can look through the windows at me, it's kind of creepy. I mean, heck, FNAF IRL. Oh, dude, you know what? No, 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 no. Not actually. I could see that, but the only thing is, my door is utterly over that way. They would have to sneak behind me so good for me not to notice them for that to happen. Could you imagine if a fucking animatronic actually started coming around the corner? But thankfully, Freddy Fazbear is not real life. So, would that be terrifying? Just be like having some random thing literally just poking right there. How would you escape? That's a good question. Because if they came through the front door, there would be no way for me to escape because they would have blocked the only exit. There is a back door over here too, but that door is kind of a... They're making IRL Freddy. I did hear that they're apparently doing a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. I don't know much about it, but I do know that they... Because I know that they did that of the Banana Splits movie as well as Willy's Wonderland. But that's how I kind of heard about the fact that they're still apparently trying to make a Five Nights at Freddy's movie. Best bet, get a rock, break the window, run like hell. Yep. Pretty much. And if I get yelled at for breaking the window, I'll be like, okay, would you rather I stay and die or break a window and live? Honestly, I'd rather break a window and live. I'd rather break a leg than lose a life. In any event, I did play. Speaking of Five Nights at Freddy's, I did play that game the other day. I'm on the third night currently. I'm probably gonna go back to it at some point, but I think I think I announced that as one of the games I'll be going back to for the month of November. I think I said I was going to do that. But I know it's going to be a lot more. It's going to be more difficult than night 2. And I already got jump scared one time on night 2, so I wonder how many jump scares I'm going to get on night 3. I wonder. Yeah. But yeah, honestly, I was checking something real quick on my Switch. But yeah. Let's see. Hey, wait, ever heard the man in the window? Hey, Wall, ever hear the man in the window? No, I probably haven't, but I do remember, a story that I was once told. This was a bit of a ghost story that I was told. I'm gonna Discord? Discord? I do have a Discord, but apparently the link that I have on my channel apparently is disconnected or it expired. I keep wanting to I keep wanting to change it up just in case, but I keep forgetting to do that. I'll get around to it eventually. I don't know when, but I'll get around to it. I'll get around to it at some point, but I don't know when at this point because I keep saying I'm going to, and then it's like, no, I haven't. Let's see here. Let's see here. Oh, I just see a comment there. Okay, the man in the window. That sounds like a creepypasta story if I'm being honest with you. That just sounds so much like a creepypasta story, and it's not even funny. It's a scary game about a man in the window. Dude, you're gonna make me a bit paranoid now. You're gonna make me a little paranoid now because I have 3 windows right here. And I swear to God, and out of all 3 windows, this one right here has a motion detected light. So, if I see anybody in anywhere, and even the outside area of that light, I know who I'm going after. But yeah, dude, you would be amazed. You'd be surprised at how, what's the one I'm looking for? You would be amazed at how paranoid I've gotten at that one. Do I have Splatoon 3? Yes, I do have Splatoon 3. I didn't announce this for the month of November, but I will be live streaming Splatoon 3 in the hype of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet coming out next month. I already have Violet pre-ordered. I've already announced that I was going to pre-order that game. And I did just the other day see that they are coming out with a new Pokemon TCG booster pack. So I'm honestly looking at, I don't know when, but I'm looking at getting that new booster box, pack. Because I'm, right now, the plan is to, do at least a booster box at least once a month, if not once every so often. Because I really like doing those booster boxes, and honestly, because of that, let's see, he breaks into your house through the front door, you have to hide or else he will find his new playmate. Sounds like the Midnight Man, honestly. But anyway, but yeah, I do have a, but yeah, I might get that booster box pack. I don't know when, but ironically, on my next paycheck, that thing comes out the day after I get paid. So either I'm gonna be crazy and get it, or I'm gonna save up my money and get it later. But hopefully get it before the next booster box, which is kind of weird because we just had an expansion pack released in September. That being Lost Origin, I believe. So we just had that one, and so we got this one coming out almost 2 months later. What is this a regular occurrence? And I mean, hey, honestly, I even looked on Amazon just for shits and giggles. On I looked on Amazon just for shits and giggles. Is what fun? Splatoon 3? Yes. It's it is fun as long as you're not the type to rage over a video game. What do I do for work? I won't say the place I won't say the place that I work at, but I will say that I am a cashier for a big chain store. I won't say which one, even though I kind of hinted at it. If you watched one of my videos, because I did accidentally wear the shirt of the place that I worked at, of the logo that had I wore a shirt that had the logo of the place on it from the front, so you could actually see that if you looked at it. If you watch that video very closely, you'll see where I work at. But since I don't say what state of the country that I live in. Is it a well-known store? Yes, it is a well-known store. It's one of the three popular stores of its kind. I will say that much. And I say three specifically because they're the only three. It's one of three stores that I know of that share this brand of stores. Stop. Shop, right? I mean, you can shop at a store, no matter what kind of store. You're still shopping. So, I love how we're going into 20 questions. Can you shop it? Is it a big chain? Is it a big chain name? Yeah, it's popular. It depends on what we're talking about here. It it's a shop, right? I mean, you can shop anywhere. I mean, you honestly, you can actually shop anywhere. The fact that I just realized that my beard and mustache actually look pretty good. My beard, I actually just trimmed my beard and mustache, and so yeah, I'm listing stars. You are mad determined to try to figure out where I work. Even if you ask me, I'm still gonna say no anyway because it's not really important to know that part of about me. So, wasting your time a little bit there, buddy. I'm just saying. Um. Anyway, what? what okay, we're at 39 minutes. All right. So at the 1 hour to 1.5 hour mark, I will be showing off the costume that I said I was going to show off at the beginning of the stream. Because, like I said there, I bought this costume because my workplace is doing 2 days back to back of 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 people wearing costumes, and I found this one. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna dress as this character for Halloween, and it's gonna be one of the most cliched things you will ever see. But we'll get to it when we get to it. But anyway, going back to childhood trauma. I was gonna say my favorite. one of the scariest movie scenes that I watched, which was from Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Absolutely love that movie, and as a matter of fact, I actually have it. I don't know where the Blu-ray copy of the Batman the Animated Series, the whole DVD there. I see that I have the I see that I have, what is that right there? Hold on a second. Oh, it's something else. All right. Yeah, I'm just looking at something else real quick here. Oh, that other book was called Tales from the Crypt, actually. Yeah, Tales from the Crypt. That's what it was. Well, wait, yeah, I do have the Blu-ray. I do have a Blu-ray thing of it. I also have the Blu-ray of Dragon Ball Z Season 1, 2, and 3, as well as the 5-movie collection of Jurassic World. And right here on my floor, actually. No, wait, actually, it's not on my floor. It is over here, though. Oh, I'm messing up my camera. I do have, I do have this, though. I do have this, though. 8 horror film collection comes with the movies Get Out, Split, The Purge Anarchy, and The Purge Election Year, Unfriended, Ouija, Spirit of, wait, does it say Spirit? No, Origin of Evil, and the one movie that I'm honestly looking forward to watching, The Visit. I actually been wanting to watch that movie for a while now. And, yeah. When I was younger, I was scared of Big Bowser and Super Mario Brothers Wii. Me and my brother kept on playing it, and then I would jump to the lava because I was scared. I could, I could honestly see that, but since I was 2009, I was 14 years old at the time, so I kind of got lucky there. That one, he didn't honestly scare me there. If you want to know a Mario enemy that scared me, Super Mario 64. Yes, of course, big shocker, right? But what might not be a big shocker would be what actually scared me. Now, it wasn't the piano. I was not really scared of the big piano. Um, oh yeah, Super Mario 64 had its fair share of, it had its fair share of, scary moments. You have the eel in Jolly Roger Bay. You had, I guess, the shark in, did I say yeah, Dire Docks, I think that was the name of it. What else do we have? We had the big fish in Tiny Huge Island. That was the one that got me more than anything. You also had the big piranha plants in Tiny Huge Island as well. Those two equally scared me playing that game. And of course, you have, uh, and then you also have. Let me see, what was that one? Oh, the piano in Big Boo's Haunt. I even was thinking of that and somehow that lost my mind. That got lost in my memory. But yeah, that game was pretty fun still though. I enjoyed it. And no, I was not one of those people that had the tendency to pick up this baby penguin in on a cool mountain. I think it was the name of the level. Um, I was not one to do that. Where I picked up the baby penguin, I tipped it over to the edge, and then I basically drop it to its death. No, I was not that kind. Kill the baby! No. No, oh wait, you're... Now, if we're talking about South Park, because I know South Park had that bit for some time, uh, ready, Ike? Kick the baby! Don't kick the baby. Kick the baby! Psh. Ah, psh. Let's see, what else got me as a kid? Star Fox 64 was fun, but because I don't remember too much about the Andross's brain being part of my childhood, I don't know if I did see it or not. But I remember somebody played that game and got to Andross while I wasn't able to do it. I even remember coming home one night. My dad was playing that game and he reached Andross and then he died. And then as soon as he died, and then the level restarted, he basically shut the game off. So I guess he kind of raged quit on that one. I don't know. But he did manage to reach Andros, I think, at one point. He probably doesn't. I want Chef to. I don't see that happening because number one, Chef died. I mean, actually, Chef did technically return in South Park: The Stick of Truth as a Nazi zombie. So he kind of technically did, but as far as the actual character himself goes, yeah, I don't see that happening because the reason why the original actor for Chef left was actually because the actor behind him was a Scientology believer. Like he was a fan of Scientology. Um, yeah, he was a Scientologist. Yeah, he was a Scientology supporter, and then Trey Parker and Matt Stone basically poked fun at Scientology, and so the voice actor behind Chef decided to leave the show because of it. Um, Basically, he got butthurt because they were poking fun at his religion. You know, and I've seen videos of people watching videos of other people poking fun at their religion, and they took it very well, if that. You know, they didn't take it too seriously, but they also weren't really, oh my god, this is offensive. Yeah, they didn't take it like that. They just kind of laughed at it somewhat. You know, they just kind of laughed at it in reality. Let's see. Screw you guys. I'm going home. Yes, I know Cartman. He's a dick. That's the best way to describe Cartman. He's a dick. Okay, okay, we're trying to go a little bit too crazy there. Get back to bait. No, we're not going there. I may be an adult channel, but there are lines that we do not cross here. As if the guy that did that comment, that's what Butters did. Well, I don't. Okay, whatever. I haven't watched all of South Park, so I wouldn't know that. Uh, but um, anyway, considering the fact that I still remember this one person decided to go on my last stream. I think it was the very first episode that I watched. And this guy here, I just realized my shirt just came undone. Hold on a second. I just remembered that this guy, I still remember that too. This guy decided to not only talk about another person's feet, but he talks about it, and he talks about how good a person's feet was when the person in question was just 14 years old. And when I say the person in question, I mean Ellie, the video game character. At first I kind of laughed at it because, you know, the, the way, like, just out of the blue, how God just, yeah, it was just so out of the blue with what he said, and then I'm like, so I let my laughs out of the way, and then after the stream was over, I realized, okay, we gotta get this taken care of. And so then I timed that person, eventually hit the comments there. Yes, you told me when Jeffro rated you. Yeah, I know, but not everybody knows the story, so considering how I've had a few new people since then, I decided to tell the story. And then, even if they're watching it through a VOD, I'm still saying it. I'm still saying it. To this day, I have never seen a person be that way ever. To this day, still a shocker, and I'm like, okay, nobody really asked about what she said about her quote unquote sweet yet smelly feet. Nobody asked about it. Why you bringing it up? Because I sure as hell don't have a foot fetish, and I really don't. Never. I don't really judge based on appearance anyway. Even by a mere foot, just a simple little foot. It doesn't. That's something that turns me on, but I know that it does turn other people on somehow, some way. No, personality. I'm more like if I'm gonna have a fetish of some kind, I'd want to have a personality fetish because that's the most important thing for me. Personality of anybody. Even as friends, I still do that. How do feet turn on people? You're asking the person that doesn't know either. I could probably turn Siri on and ask him that. But do I really want to? No. Look it up on your own time, my brain is saying, because we are trying to talk about scary moments of our childhood here. But anyway, going back to the topic that I had earlier. Scariest movie moment that I watched as a kid. Batman Mask of the Phantasm. Love that movie. I'd love to see it again. So in this scene in question, a bit of spoiler warning because it involves a dead character. A character that you see in the movie but he ends up being killed off. But I won't say the name of the person though. But what happens is they do this really great build up to where they have the Phantasm character. At that point, we don't know who she is, but we kind of get clues and hints about it. The parents? Uh, no. It was actually the scene where the Phantasm character goes into, getting shanked to death in front of him. That's, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the movie Batman Mask of the Phantasm, 1993 animated movie. I know you're talking about a Batman movie of some sort, but the one movie that I'm talking about is the 1993 animated classic that I really enjoyed watching growing up as a kid. But in this case, this one is where you have the Phantasm going into this room. Batman and his parents died in front of him. Yes, yes, they did. And that's what caused him to be Batman. They even did an alternate timeline thing where they showed what would have happened if it was Bruce Wayne that took the bullet instead of his parents. And it basically resulted in his dad becoming Batman and his mother becoming the Joker. Yeah, that's kind of crazy. Getting chanked or shot or whatever. I think they got shot. I believe they got shot, but I haven't read the very beginning, the origin story of Batman, so I wouldn't know, honestly. But in this movie, so what happens in this scene is where they have the Phantasm character walking into this freaking spaciously massive room, this massively spacious room, and you see a character literally sitting like this, holding holding a newspaper right in front of him, like holding his newspapers on both sides of it. And so the Phantasm says, the big line, like their slogan, Mr. Da Da Da, the angel of death awaits. And then they pull, she pulls the newspapers out of this man's hand. And this guy has has a pale pink face because something happened and he's literally looking like this. Oh, hold on. So should I challenge Batman to a water gun fight? It doesn't look like a water gun, but it is. Oh, it doesn't look like a water gun, but it is. No. Post-traumatic trauma. Never do things that might awaken a person's trauma. Let's see how, let's see, maybe shoot Robin and Batgirl in front of them and getting them. Okay, we're kind of going a little bit too crazy with that kind of talking point. Uh, but yeah, trauma. Because I mean, if you watched Batman the animated series, they have a thing where there's the first episode where they introduced the Scarecrow character. There's a bit where Batman, after falling victim to the fear toxin, he gets the vision of his father in his head because he's afraid that because of what somebody said to him prior to that scene happening, he was afraid that he may have disappointed his father. Yeah, so he disappointed his father. That's what he was afraid of, and that's what he was thinking of at the time. Um, but yeah. Anyway, um, But yeah, his hand's literally looking like this. I would probably have to show you the picture what he looks like. Then having it. What about a TMNT versus Batman? You like that movie? I've heard of it, but I have never seen it all the way through. Anyway, I've seen like bits and pieces of it, but I haven't seen it all the way through at all. Hmm. Yeah. So I honestly found that movie, and I thought that was a good movie, though. I highly recommend it to any Batman fan who hasn't seen it yet, somehow, some way. I recommend seeing it. It's a really good movie, I think. Very good mystery movie, with superhero action, of course. Sorry, but I gotta go to bed. Alright, funny man, thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a good rest of your night. You have church tomorrow. Alright, I hope you have a good rest. I hope you have a good day tomorrow, and I hope you have a good Sunday on church. Good night, and have a good rest of your night, and I will see you later. But now, uh, but now going back to my story there, the way this character looked was really, was probably the scariest looking character I ever seen when it came to post effects of, when it came to the after effects of what killed him. Hope to see you tomorrow. We'll see. I might be doing something tomorrow. I might not. We'll see what happens. If I do something tomorrow, I have a good idea of what to play for tomorrow. But we'll see what happens. In any event, excuse me. In any event, but yeah, this character. Going back to this character. So like I said, guy, you see the long shot of what appears to be a spacious room, a massively spacious room. The phantasm character comes walking in very slowly, and as she approaches the guy who is holding his newspaper, the phantasm says the typical line, they're saying, Mister Da Da Da, the angel of death awaits. And then you see him. Then you see his face in making a face that scared me as a kid. And then the camera pans down, and you see a camera, and then you hear the Joker's voice, and then you realize, okay, so this is what happened. All right, okay, all right, okay, okay, I gotcha. Um, but yeah, that was a pretty good scary movie. But my So basically, my favorite childhood scare that got me was basically it was basically a mixture of things as far as TV goes. For movies, it had to go Batman: Mask of the Phantasm. Uh, but my favorite, scariest kid game that I grew up, scariest video game moment that I grew up with that I've seen as a kid. Honestly, I didn't really grow up with too many quote unquote scary games. Heck, I honestly never even grew up with The Legend of Zelda back then. I didn't even know Legend of Zelda was even a thing when I was growing up. But I would have to say the scariest, actually, I would say the second scariest movie scene would be the introduction to Gamork, I think. The one where you see the camera zooming into this dark looking cave, and the boys saying a story, and then when the camera's finally covered up, that's when you see the greenest of eyes that you'll ever see, and then yeah, you just see nothing but darkness. Yeah, that was fun. Yeah, that was a scary moment for me. Honestly, the wolf character did scare me growing up. And I mean, so many people grew up with that movie too, and that's probably scary. That probably scared them too. Uh, but going back to video games, I would say the scariest thing for me would probably have to have been what I said earlier: the big fish, as well as the big piranha plant in Tiny Huge Island. In Super Mario 64, uh, with the eel. uh, and the ghost piano, that really scared me that much when I was a kid. Yeah, it may have creeped me out a little bit, but it didn't really scare me. Neither of those two may have creeped. Both of them may have creeped me out, but they didn't really scare me out of it all, really. And yes, there is a difference between being, creeping the person out and scaring them. But yeah. Anyway, okay, so I just noticed that it is 6 o'clock. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my mic, but I will be back to show off the Halloween costume that I got. Be right back. Yep. So as you can tell, I am basically yep. So basically, as you can tell, I am dressing up as my boy Michael Myers. The reason why is very simple. Because it's Halloween. And let's be honest here, nobody is more synonymous with the holiday than this man right here. All you need to look is this mask. And that's all you need. So, yep. Actually, hold on. I just realized I can actually wear it like this, honestly. Actually. That really just got in my eye. The only downside to this thing is that, it don't really fit too well on me, but whatever. I don't think it'll actually work. This is so weird. But honestly, I don't think I can wear it like that. But yeah. See, the only problem is, it's so freaking huge though. The mask is too big. Like, for me, like, I can't wear it properly without messing with it in some way. That's the only downside to it. And then you also have the added bonus of this thing right on the back. Whoa! Yeah, get rid of that. Jesus cow, man. Alright. Yeah. Yep. Gonna be the boy Michael Myers. The only downside being, of course, too big. This mask is way too big. But it'll do. Honestly, it'll probably do. I kind of enjoyed doing that little build up to it, but I mean, still the mask is kind of big, but at least it's what it looked like when it was delivered to me through Amazon. See, the only thing is, let me show you. See, the thing is, you have the opening there. So you have the opening here. And this is how it's supposed to be. The only problem is that, it doesn't want to do that. It wants to be a little difficult. But yeah. Yep, there you go. Just like that. Boom. Got the knife prop with the blood, with painted blood on it. And then you have the mask itself, but I can't really mess with it too much for obvious reasons. If I was able to, I'd put my glasses on and be like that one guy from the first movie. The one guy with his own glasses. That would have been nice, but you know that wouldn't work. So yeah. So yep, this is what I'm wearing as a costume for the last 2 days of October for a costume day. I just wish the mask wasn't so freaking big. If only I had a way to get that situated, but whatever. I'll manage. Probably. We'll see. But yep. Actually, here, that would have been more. Should have moved here. That's so gruesome. That's gonna be gruesome. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is gonna do it for me here tonight. Hope you guys enjoyed. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for a game that I honestly didn't think I was going to be playing, but I'm going to be playing it anyway, just because why not? We're going to be playing Pokemon Unite tomorrow. See you guys until then. For now, this is Forrest Walpole, signing off.